Oops, try again. Hello. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? So excited. Uh-oh.
Everybody. How's
Hold
everybody
on.
doing?
Hold on. Okay. So excited. Tell me if you can hear me okay. Just to make sure my settings didn't change right here in the middle. All right. Ooh, I have Jerry and Stephanie and Alyssa and Susan and Sonia and Marty and Sue and Laura. Hi, guys. Stephanie, Tammy, Laura. Oh my goodness, girl. I haven't seen you online forever. I missed seeing you. Hi. All right. So we have a big, nice crowd today. All right. I like to take a couple of minutes to just kind of let people to hop on. And this usually lets us do that. Like I usually start a couple minutes early. So excited, so excited. Okay, here, this works better, right? Okay, so loud and clear. Awesome, awesome. Hello. Okay, so I'm going live through StreamYard. So if you did not grant permission for StreamYard to see your name, I will not see your name in my comments over here on the side, which is fine. I will try to hop back into the group and see who said something, but as we're painting, if you have any questions and you're gonna pop them in, and on my side it just shows Facebook user, so I might just read your question out loud, but not your name. Okay, so super happy, right? I'm super happy. So this is what we're painting tonight, right? The coneflower, not the blue page. This page here, the coneflower, and quite honestly, like this is my sketchbook on the go. It has watercolor paper and regular paper, and I was like on this watercolor page, and I thought, okay, I'll paint it. I had no idea this would be so popular. Well, let's let's do this. Ooh, we have Anita from Australia, Perth, Australia. Wow, first time. Wonderful. Okay, everybody, welcome. I'm super excited. And I suspect that everybody here is also pretty excited. I'm gonna move the screen later. You know what? Let's do this. Let me do this so it's not super distracting for you. Okay, let's talk a few things before we start painting, okay? So, first of all, my name is Luba Carlson. I'm the artist. I'm the host of this group. I started this group probably about 18 months ago, to be honest. I think April last year. Don't remember. Well, it doesn't matter when it all started. And we're close to 10K, which makes me super excited because it means that we have 10,000 people in the group who are striving to be creative and do creative things in their life. And this is amazing to me. So I don't know if you saw that. I will be posting in the probably next week. Let's make it realistic, right? Next week, I'll be sharing details, okay? But I'm going to do a 10 days gratitude art journal challenge. Art journaling, gratitude art journaling is kind of my thing. I love doing that, and I would like to extend the invitation if you have not seen that post yet. Um, uh, what else from the standpoint of organizing? You probably signed up for my mailing list, which is amazing because I only send it on Sundays and I let you know what's going on in the group, what classes I offer. I try not to overwhelm you with my emails, so I only send once a week. And sometimes I would send a couple more if I have something super special going on, like for this challenge, the Gratitude Art Journal challenge, you might see a couple more emails to just kind of have it organized and pull people together, those who are interested. But yes, so if why I like to have an email list is because social media is unpredictable and not trustworthy. So you might not see, like, you may watch this lesson with me here tonight, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. But Facebook will not give you any notifications about upcoming events or whatever's happening. You will have to physically go into the group and check out what's going on. It's just hard to trust social media like that. But if I have your email, I can send it to you directly, and this way you will for sure get this information. All right, now let's talk our painting. Let me know in the comments. I need to see how would you rate yourself as a watercolor artist? Are you a complete beginner? Are you kind of sort of intermediate, like you've tried this before, you know what you're talking about, like you just need a couple, like a little bit of guidance? Like I want to like see what kind of a group we have, so that complete beginner, beginner, beginner. Okay. Beginner, intermediate. Respect. Beginner, 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 kind of intermediate, complete beginner, never done before, beginner, totally beginner, complete beginner, total beginner. Oh, okay, beginners, welcome, welcome. Wonderful time. First timers, beginners, y'all, wonderful time. So I'm gonna put this in a nutshell. If you are intermediate, if you know what I'm talking about, just kind of zone out for a couple of minutes, okay? So watercolor, what is it there that we really really need to know about watercolor before we start painting, right? So first thing, it's not waterproof. So once your painting is dry, if you put some water in it, it'll bleed, okay? Hi Judy. And so this is not water safe. If acrylics, once they're dry, right, you can, it's safe to touch and put some wetness on it. Like watercolor is not. With watercolor, you kind of have to paint. It's almost like a coloring book to me. It's like you cannot layer colors the same way that you can with acrylics. Watercolor is very capricious. It does whatever it wants depending on your paper, your brush, the watercolor you're using. There is a whole lot of things that go into watercolor, okay? So what I want you to take from this is this. Watercolor can be stressful, especially when you just start out, okay? So I want you to kind of loosen up a little bit and approach it with a smile on your face and with attitude that it might not work out very well the first time. Just being honest, right? So I want you to go through all my exercises and try and do your best. And I know that you can do this, but have a little bit of like a, not that a lower expectation, but do not expect yourself to learn a skill the first time trying. I hope I'm making sense. Please give me like some feedback. Like, did I completely put you down and told you that don't even try? Give me feedback. Let me know how that makes you feel, because yeah. So paper. real quick, I know that most of you looked at supplies, at supply list, right? And I gave you a few examples of paper there that you could do or you could get. All right, love it, got it, motivate, awesome. All right, so my this was my starter, and I just have 2 pages left here. Ooh, okay, so paint doesn't spread in it very well, doesn't flow the way I like it, but Canson is great for practice. I wanted to show you, oh, I painted the front, but it looks like this. It's the Arteza. As much as I love acrylic paints by Arteza, their sketchbook for watercolor, I don't like it. It bleeds through. I don't like it. The color gets kind of splotchy. Don't do that. Not great. Okay. And then I have a couple that I got in Ukraine when I visited in September last year. I am from Ukraine, so my family is there. And pretty much everything is 300 gram. That's the weight of paper. And this is where you want to find yourself. This is where you want to be. So see, there is some texture to it. Like if I, so that's what you want. You want to have a little bit of texture on it. Okay. So this is kind of the same thing. There's lots and lots and lots of options. And I wanted to show you real quick the actual painting depending on paper. Let me hop onto my desk view real quick here. Whoops. Nope. Don't mess with that. Hold on. There. Okay, desk view. So 300 grams. So you can see how the paint spreads very nicely. And I'll teach you how to do that today. This is wet on wet technique. And it spreads super nice, right? And again, like you can see all this kind of combinations of color and water, and you can see that it's very flowy, right? But then you get different kind of paper, and then like some places it does flow and some places it doesn't. Right. Sonia, great question. Should I use an easel or paint flat? Watercolor, you paint flat because there's a lot of water. You do not want it to run. Okay. And I really say do whatever works best for you. I also paint my acrylics flat most of the time, unless it's like a big canvas. And here, this is handmade paper that I got from Amazon. And although I love how the paper feels on my hand, it's really hard to make it flow. Like paper or the watercolor does not flow. So look, it just sits here. See? So, or like here, right? That was a brush stroke, see, and it didn't even. It was a super wet brush, and it did not even saturate the paper. So definitely test your paper, see how you feel about it. All right. Now I'm gonna show you real quick how we're gonna do. We're gonna have so here's what I'm gonna teach you today. If you survive me. Hold on, I'm back. Okay, so for our, where is it? Let me find the good position so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so for the coneflower, mostly this is wet and dry, and I will explain what that means. Okay, Denise, multimedia paper can work okay. depending on multimedia paper, depending on how heavy it is, and it's not gonna flow that much. Okay. Watercolor paper is usually cotton, and so that it flows better. Okay. Lined paper is not gonna work. It's too thin. It's just gonna run. You want your paper to be heavy, heavy, heavy. If so I did this trick before. I would glue a few sheets of paper, like 2 or 3 sheets together in my art journal, right? But the paper still buckles. Like it's very far from ideal. I wouldn't do that, honestly. Like it's very frustrating, and yeah. So we're gonna do wet on dry, wet on wet, and then I'm gonna show you how to outline so that it all kind of, so there's like shading and like all of that yummy stuff. And we're gonna mix some colors and let's paint. All right, who's excited to paint? I am so excited to paint. I'm gonna push this all over, and I'm gonna get the desk view again. So I'm gonna do my practice on Canson paper just because it's fine. I don't care. Here, lay it flat. Rock Richards, oops, sorry, I'm not angry. Oh, that's funny because I get those angry emojis sometimes, and I'm like, what did I do? I haven't done anything wrong. Right? Okay. Paints. So I am using this. I just couldn't wait to dig into the new set. I love new sets of paints. So I'm going to use this. Mostly I'm going to be using lemon yellow, cadmium yellow, the second color. And then that one is alizarin crimson hue. It's very close to your magenta or rose color. And then we're going to use a little bit of green, and we're going to mix things up to get the colors that we need. So for your palette, for your mixing colors, of course, you can use like the top of your box. If you have something like that, you can use your regular, what's that palette, like a regular plastic palette. Rebecca says, I don't mean to send the little angry or sad icons. I'm trying to shrink the comments. It should be on the video. It's on the video. There is like a, there is a little thing. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm losing it. Hold on just a second. So Rebecca said, I don't mean to send the angry or sad icons. I'm trying to shrink the comments. So there is a little button in your right bottom corner that will allow you to go full screen. And then just getting your questions, okay? Is your paper 5x7? The paper for the final painting is going to be 5x7. This is my practice paper, so this is like more like 11x9 or something like that. Okay. What's next? Do you tape your edges? Sometimes, Rock, sometimes. So if I'm painting and I know that I'm going to put a lot of water on the whole thing at the same time, then yes, I tape my edges. If I'm just painting something in the middle and I know that by the time I get to the side, this part is going to be dry, there is no need to tape. Sorry, there is no need to tape the edges. For better art, how thick? For tape, I don't know, 1/3 of an inch, 1/2 inch maybe. Love the plate. Yes, I'll go over it in a second. Over brushes, perfect. Yes. Uh, Ignore negative. You guys are amazing. Ignore the negative emoji. Okay, I will ignore negative emojis. All right, so listen. For your brushes, there's so many brushes. And this is my favorite. These are my favorite brushes right now. And of course, I got them in Ukraine again. So I'm sorry I can't tell you go to the store and buy this brand. So these are squirrel brushes. And yeah, I baby them. Okay, nothing else ever is used with them. But I also used this brush. That's called, it says touch, simple touch, simply touch, something. I've had them for years now. But what happened was that I also paint acrylics, and so I started using this brush in acrylics, and so I ruined it. So do not use your watercolor brush in your acrylics. I do recommend, though, trying a couple of different brands, because you never know what you're gonna like. Like, you might like a longer handle or a shorter handle, right? So this is a Golden Maple brand. They're also pretty good, but they're not as soft. Like, this one is super soft. So just try it. Yeah, just give it a chance. Give it a chance. Okay, and for beginner, I would just say that this number five is enough. You don't need anything else to be able to start painting watercolor. If you really like what you're doing and you really like what you're seeing, then you can go, and Fox 4 brushes are good. Yeah. Oh, yes, they are. Yes. Okay. The plate. Somebody said that they love my plate. So this is my favorite palette for watercolor. This is just a Corel plate. You can get them for like, I want to say $3-4 at Walmart. Really. It doesn't stain. It's like the only palette that I found that's not like glass, right? That doesn't stain. So I really, really like this one. It's good. Okay. Well, let's grab some colors, and we'll start with a little bit of techniques, and then we'll jump into the painting. So right now you're working on your practice paper, okay? All right. So if you have, what are they called? Cakes. They're called cakes. We're going to put a little bit of water on your cakes to just kind of wake them up. All right. And I like to have 2 jars of water. So one jar is going to be dirty water and one jar is going to be clean water. And I also like to have my paper towels by my hand right here. So the way I do it, the way I clean my brush, is when I have paint on it, I gently dab it on the paper towel, then I rinse it in the dirty water, and then I rinse it in clean water. And this way we do not contaminate our colors. So for now, this is all clean water. So I'm going to just put a little bit of water onto each of my cakes because they're super dry, to just wake them up. And before I forget, if you're using something like this, if you have a tin with your watercolor, make sure that your watercolor is completely dry, that your paint is completely dry before you close up your tin. I've had one set that got moldy, and I also had a couple of students whose sets got moldy because they closed them while they were wet. So just kind of know that. And like, if it's just a cheap set, then maybe no big deal. But if you invested quite a bit into it and then you open the box and it's moldy, that's not fun at all. Right? Okay, so this is wet. I'm going to create a puddle of water. You probably can't see my puddle, but I promise it's right there. Okay. And I'm going to grab some, so just for practice, so I'm going to grab something bright so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm grabbing some alizarin, adding it to my water. So watercolors is exactly that. It's the color paint mixed with water, right? You don't usually paint directly from the cake. Sometimes I do that, but not usually. And we're just going to play with one color right now, okay? Rock says there are many different sizes and styles of brushes. Yes, so many, so many. It just makes sense to start maybe with one or two. And if you really are enjoying this and you're going to do this, then maybe start investing into good sets of brushes. All right. So the first one, I'm going to do the wet and dry. So wet and dry is exactly that. Your paper is dry, your paint is wet. So we're going to load your brush. Okay. And I just for the sake of beginners, okay, just try and paint a thin line and just go as far as you can. Like it doesn't have to be anything, right or wrong or whatever. Just do a thin line. Then get some more paint on your brush. And now apply a lot of pressure and do a thick line as far as you can. Okay. And so once you got this, now we're going to go ahead and start with our petal shape. This is the main petal shape that we're using for this painting. So you're going to start with low pressure, then high pressure, and then back to low pressure. So I'm going to make this super long so that you can see what I'm doing. So we have low pressure, then more pressure, and then low pressure again and lift. And there is your petal. Okay. Hello, hello. Who's joining us? I can't see all of your names, but I love that you joined us. Okay. Now let's try again. Low pressure, higher pressure, low pressure, lift. Yeah. And try again. And now we're going to try and do this in different directions. So pretend that you're working around the clock. Okay. So kind of use your imagination. All right. So I'm going to start from the center and I'm going to go up, and that's going to be my 12 o'clock. So I'm going to like move, I don't know, like my hand, what is it, like 4 inches to the side so that I have room to go all the way around. And I'm going to start in the center and just go up. And that's my 12 o'clock. This is also a great exercise for your warm-up. So even if you are an intermediate painter and you know what you're doing, this will give you perfect warm-up. Okay, so I'm doing, this was 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And then we're going to do 3 o'clock. And 4 o'clock. Again, low pressure, high pressure, okay? Low pressure, high pressure, 5. Well, that's more like 6. But that's okay. I'm going to squeeze that in. But before I squeeze it in, I'm going to wait for these two petals to dry. If I squeeze it in right now, my paint is going to bleed into the other petals. So I'll just come back and fix that later. So here's my 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay. How did you do the red lines in the petals? It just comes with water. The water sticks to your to your watercolor paper, and this is Canson paper, and this is what it does. This is how amazing watercolor is. This is why I really love it, because you never know what's going to happen. So today this happened. Okay. Okay. All right. So next step, I'm going to show you how to make a petal like this. See, it's like twirled a little bit. Also, it's nothing super hard. It's all good. It's pretty much low pressure, high pressure, low pressure, high pressure, low pressure. Okay. Low, high, low, high, low. Low, high, low, high, low. And there is your twisted petal. Oh, whoa. Here. Okay. Does this make sense? Okay. So some of our petals are not going to be sharp like that, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to start at the 12 o'clock again, right? And we're going to do low pressure, high, low. And then you're going to come back right next to it and just add a little bit to it. It's like bunny ears. You see what I did? Let me try and go again over here. Let's do like at 10 o'clock. Yeah. Low, high, low. So that's the first part of your petal. And then you're going to add another one. And so you get this kind of interesting color combination. See? It's all bleeding together and kind of getting married and happy. All right. And of course, there is just petals that you might want to start. Yeah, you do start with low pressure, but you kind of can go on the curve a little bit to change the shape of your petal. Yeah. Here, I'm going to try and hold it next to the camera and try to do this again. So I started with low pressure, and then I kind of dipped over to the side. So that would be like my letter C. Low pressure, and then high pressure to the C, and around and come back. Yeah. And then go back to the same spot and kind of finish it. Finish your petal. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. I love Facebook Lives. They make it so comfortable, like easy to connect with a lot of people and teach to a lot of people. But it's hard to get feedback like that, right? And with Zoom and like all of those, it becomes overwhelming because like everybody's talking. Okay, somebody says, I'm glad you're starting with brush strokes. Yes, absolutely. This is super important for watercolor because it is. I can't even stress enough how important that is. Okay, so your hand is a little bit warm now. Get a little bit more paint on your paintbrush. And look, you can always go on the side and take the excess water off. If there is a lot of water, it will start puddling, and that might not be super pretty. Charlotte says, finally found my keyboard. Oh my gosh. Stephanie says, love learning the slow high. Yeah. I don't know. That's how I taught myself. I literally taught myself. I watched a few videos on YouTube for petal shaping, and then I just stuck to it and kept playing, and it's just coming, right? You just need to stick to it and keep playing. Okay? Watercolor is capricious, so there's going to be a lot of mess up before something decent happens. But it's worth it. All right, so we have paint on the brush and it's not dripping, okay? We're gonna do really, really low pressure, and we're gonna try and paint like a hairline. So you're only using the very tip of your round brush, super low pressure. Like hardly even there. See that? Okay? Why I want you to do that is because, again, it's a good warm-up and it gives you more control on your brush and your hand. All right? So I have some petals around here, and so I'm just gonna go bananas with my super thin line. Ooh. And I'm gonna try and get it around as far as I can. And it's okay to move your hand and stop and reposition your paper. Just kind of get a feel for it. Do you see how much paint there is in this brush? Like I haven't refilled it and it keeps going. Yeah? So it kind of gives you an idea. A whole lot of paint on here. Just go do squiggles and relax and have fun with it. Okay. So this was wet on dry. Okay. So now I'm going to show you wet on wet, and wet on wet is amazing. I just love it. Of course I love it. I love watercolor. So yes, I love it. So here's my paper towel. I just want to set it up so that you can see everything I'm doing. Okay, so I clean my brush. I gently wipe it off on the paper towel. Then it goes into my dirty water. Then it goes into my clean water. Now it's clean. And I kind of take the excess off, excess water on the side like this. Okay. And then I'm going to paint a circle with just water. Just paint a wet circle. And depending on your paper, you might need more water or less water. It kind of depends. So make sure it's wet. And then we're going to grab some paint and we're just going to put a dot and see what happens. So you see how it spreads. Oh, I so painted the circle and I'm out of. So what it does is that the paint spreads around on that water, and the water makes it move. Just try and add some dots to it and see what happens. These are referred as blooms. They are referred to as blooms. Yeah? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my brush. Dirty water, clean water. And I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to do another puddle. I'm going to do yellow right here just to show you what wet on wet really does, and it's beautiful. So I'm adding a little bit more of this alizarin to my alizarin puddle just to get more pigment in there. Clean, dirty, clean. And then I'm going to grab some lemon yellow and put it in this here. Okay, clean. Now let's make another circle. Let's paint another circle. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger this time. Mine is going to be a bit, probably 1.5 inches in diameter. Just so that you can see it. I promise it's there. I know it's really hard on the camera, but it's there. Okay, now I'm going to grab some of my alizarin and drop. See how it blooms on one side. Clean my brush. Oh, went in the wrong one. Dirty water first, and then clean water. That happens. And then grab some lemon yellow and add. And I have to hold my paper because I just push the paper under. Okay, here we go. And now I'm going to add a little bit more of this alizarin to kind of get the colors together. Okay. Do you see how I hope you can see it on your paper, that the colors are blending together. What happened on mine is I put a little bit too much of water on there. And how I can fix it is pretty simple. I just rip off a piece of paper towel like this, and then I roll it up, and then I use the torn side, and then I can just go and carefully lift what I don't want. So this is a super easy way to fix pretty much any mistake in watercolor, as long as you move fast enough for it not to set. Excuse me. You should be okay. All right. So just a paper towel, a piece of paper towel, roll it up, and let's see. Am I lucky enough? Can I just lift it all? Let's say, oh, I don't like this. See? It pretty much picked it all up. But it's also a quality of Canson watercolor paper, because it doesn't absorb so well. Yeah? But now we know if we made a mistake, we can do this. Or if we made a mistake, you can also clean your brush, dry it, and then use your brush to lift some color. All right? So this is good. Okay. Let me grab a clean page. Hold on. There. Clean page. If you still have room on yours, you don't need to have a clean page right now. But I would like to show you what's going to happen next. So I had a few people requesting a sketch. So when I teach acrylic paintings, very often I would offer a pattern that you can just trace onto your canvas, right? So that you can just focus on painting and you don't need to worry about drawing, right? Why I did not offer a sketch for this one is because when people transfer things onto watercolor paper, they would normally use the carbon paper, or what's that other one? You know what I mean. And the lines are going to be so dark when you do that. It's just not good, right? And also, like, this really doesn't need sketching. You can do this by hand. How? Let me show you real quick. So And this is something that you can use with pretty much any flower. Any flower you want to paint, like, flat flower, I would call them, right? Not like a rose. Roses are more like 3D, they're all stacked up together. But like something like this, like flat. So first, you kind of try and define your main shapes. Okay, so your first main shape is the shape of the head of the flower. And look, it's an oval. You see this? It's an oval. So we're going to be using our kind of mind eye, I guess, your imagination, to keep within the lines. All right. So we have the oval here. The center of the flower is like this ups. It's like a teardrop. It's right here, right? And then of course we have the stem and the leaves. That's it. What we need to pay attention to is that the teardrop is a little bit higher than the center, right? So if I do this kind of oval, the center is here, right? The teardrop is a little bit up higher. It really makes sense to try and paint it a few times, but I'm sure we can do this. So here's our center, and then our petals that are closer to us, they're going to be longer. That are farther away from us, they're much shorter. You see this, right? And also, you want to add a little bit of a curve to your petals as you're painting them. So I would say like these three are not so curvy, just a little bit, but then once you start going out, they're gonna get a little bit curvier. Okay? Let me know if this makes sense. Excuse me. And I have this clean paper here to simply mix colors. So let's mix our colors a little bit and test them. That is also fun to do. So we do need lemon yellow, cadmium yellow. We're going to be using this alizarin, or if you have magenta or rose, that is also great. I'm just adding a little bit more water to my lemon yellow because I want more of that. And then I'm making a puddle for my cadmium or warm yellow. Right here. And then we're going to need the green. And I think our green is going to become, it's going to be a little bit of a mix. We're going to mix a couple of things for that green. All right. So let's grab some of this alizarin again. A whole lot of it. Put it on here. Grab some more. Okay, that's good. Clean brush, clean water. Grab some more of this lemon yellow. Put it in here. All right, clean brush, clean water. Okay, warm yellow. In there. Ooh, pretty color. Clean water. Make sure that it's clean water. If you need to add more water to your cakes, because my cakes are drying out, so I suspect yours might be too. Okay. Clean brush, clean water. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab sap green. It is on more like what would I say, olive green, closer to olive green in shade. Okay. If you don't have it, but you have, maybe you have cerulean blue or other blue, you can mix your own green by mixing blue and yellow. So that's my green. Would this be recorded for later view? Yes, everything I teach in this group is recorded for later view, and then everything goes in guides. So if you haven't checked out the library, I have 40 plus guides there of different painting. There's seasonal stuff, there's just stuff to paint, there's a couple of mixed media projects. Just I save it all in the group because I know that I have a lot of members who like to just come back and paint on their own time. Okay, so for this green, I want to mute it a little bit. It's a little bit too bright. It's hard to see. You know, here, let's put it on paper so that you can see what I talk about. It's a little bit too chartreuse. Here we go. Let's get some more pigment. Let's try again. What do we think about that? Okay, that's getting there. I want to add a little bit of yellow to this, of warm yellow. So clean brush, clean water, a little bit of yellow. Just mix directly into here. Let's see what happens. Good. I like that tone. And to mute it, I'm just gonna grab a little bit. Okay, again, clean brush, clean water. You're gonna say that in your dreams. It's gonna be you're gonna dream my voice telling you clean brush, clean water. Okay, a little bit of this alizarin into your green and see it's here. Let's pick this up. Hold on, I'll answer your question in a second. And look, that's a completely, ooh, love. Yeah? See what we did there? Just added a little bit of paint. Okay, clean brush. Clean brush, clean water. Okay, I see a question. I don't think my paint consistency is the same as yours. I came in a little late. Okay, consistency of paint is your choice. You just mix it with water. So you make a puddle of water on your palette, and then you start adding your pigment from your cake. Okay, and you can make it lighter or darker, or then you can mix colors, you can add colors. And quite honestly, if I just went and painted directly from the cake, just to compare, just for the fun of it. So this was with water, mixed with water, and this color is directly from the cake. Look at that. Look at that color. A whole different story, right? And watercolor always dries a little bit lighter. So it always makes sense to check what you're getting. Okay, clean brush, clean water. Okay, I hope this helps. All right, so we have our colors ready. Colors ready. This can go to the side, practice piece. And now I'm gonna jump to my 5x7. Is this 5x7? I think it's 5x7. Oh, it's in centimeters. That's not helpful. I think it's 5x7. Looks like 5x7. I don't know. So this is something I did as a bonus. It's in guides. If you want to play with your watercolors and see how you can mix your colors and make yourself a little chart. So like, so I did it with this set right here. So with just these 12 colors, you can get all of this, right? So it kind of makes sense to play with that. Okay, let me put that over to the side. It's in the guides. That video is in guides already. I don't need that. I do need this. Upright. My paper towel ready. All right. Let me set it up so that I'm definitely in the frame. Here we are, so you can see what we're doing. And we're gonna start. We're gonna start with our petals. So the first petals I'm putting in are going to be the lower layer, the layer that goes under the other petals. And I'm gonna start doing that with my lemon yellow. So I'm just grabbing my paintbrush, grabbing some lemon yellow. Okay. Keep in my mind that I want my flower to be here, and it needs to be an oval shape. But I'm just gonna start putting my petals towards the center. For the center, I am literally just gonna put a little dot of my lemon yellow. I will be able to cover it up later. Not a big deal. Okay. So let's start with the first round. So it's kind of a 6 o'clock, well, kind of a 6:30 petal. Okay. 6:30, start on the bottom, bring it to the top. On the bottom, low pressure, high pressure, almost touch the center. Oh, here. Okay. Oops. And then do that again. Remember how we did a 2-stroke petal? Yeah. And maybe add a little bit more. And then let it set. And then we're going to move over to the side here. And we're going to remember that it's an oval shape, right? And so we're going to be at like 5 o'clock, I guess. Again, from the bottom, low pressure, high, low, up. And then again, double stroke. And I know it's super hard to see with yellow. Yellow is kind of hard, but just bear with me. Okay. Then this one is like 3:15. I know. Couldn't be just 3 o'clock, right? 3:15, and we're gonna give it a nice, but not too much, nice curve. And again, low pressure, curve, bring it to the center, low, stop. And then start, I'm gonna kind of work it in a little. And I have a lot of paint coming to the center, right? And so I'm just kind of gently guiding it back onto my petal so that my whole petal has color in it. Okay, we're gonna move on to the one that's kind of 7:30, right? And it's the one that's twisted, remember? So that's gonna be low, high, low, high, low, low, high, low, high, low. Okay? And that petal is lower than everything else. It's kind of hanging. And it's going to be a curve. A curve. So here we go. Low, high, and stop. Okay. Then 8 o'clock. Your choice of a petal, you can make it random or less random. And then the petals that are going above, this is like our horizon line right here, right? So these petals are going to be shorter. So kind of do a 2-stroke petal and make them short. Still doing the low high, just it's not as long. Low high, not as long. Okay. Okay, Deb says the pencil marks from tracing will show through. If we're doing the outline, this is not an issue. If you try erasing it, you won't be able to after the paint goes on. It's kind of a yes and a no. So this coneflower is very free form. And so if you're doing the outlines, I mean, there's nothing wrong if you want to do the outline. Okay. Moving on, we're just going to use the same brush. I'm not even rinsing it. And I'm going to get some warm yellow now. And I'm going to add petals in between the petals that we have now. So I'm going to do a little bit of a wiggle and low high again. And if I'm seeing that, so I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, that's not enough color, right? So I'm going to clean my brush, go back to my paints, grab some more of this cadmium yellow, mix it into my palette here so that I have a little bit more of color saturation. And then I'm going to go ahead and add more petals. And if my first layer of petals is dry, then I am safe to add more. So all we're doing right now, we're painting wet on dry. See? Low, high, low, high. That's it. It's like, okay, I want to add one more in here. I'll just do that. One in here. One in there. Okay. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I wanted to add a little bit more color to my lemon yellow ones. They're kind of pale, right? So I can grab a little bit of this warmer yellow and apply it to the petal, to the lemon yellow petal, but not the whole petal, right? You do not want to just cover it. There's a lot of water here. Let's take it. Just partially. So you will still have a little bit of a lemon yellow showing through, but you're also adding a little bit more color. Okay. Rinse my brush, and I'm gonna go and grab some of this alizarin. Okay, and I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of this warm yellow, and it's gonna give me this nice orangish, peachy kind of yummy color. And so I'm just going to go ahead and add this color to some of my warm yellow petals. And again, a lot depends on your paper, a lot depends on the paint you're using. And I must tell you that this is not looking the same as it looked in my sketchbook. Why? Well, for once, I'm using different brand of paints, and I'm painting on different paper. So this is going to look different. Is that a big deal? Not to me. Yeah, just let your paint. So what's happening here is a little bit of a runoff, but that's all good because we're going to do the outline. We're going to outline our petals. If I wanted to add a little bit more kind of redness to it, I can rinse my brush and grab some of this alizarin and just go directly into here on some sides. See, just add it, just drop it, because this is a wet on wet. Just add it to some petals that are still wet. I think the trick here is not to be afraid. And look, so right here, I'm adding color and it's not moving because the petal is dry. So I'm going to clean my brush, grab some clean water, take the excess off, and then just paint right on the edge where the paint meets so that I don't have a harsh line. There we go. Okay. And I think I want more petals. I think this needs to be fuller. So I'm just gonna grab some more of this orange that I have. And I'm just gonna go back. Make sure that it's dry. It's hard to see with this, the light is kind of. And add another. You need to make sure your petals are dry before you add any more petals in. Okay? Because they're all gonna run together if you don't. And I just put my dirty brush into clean water. Ah! Oh well. I kind of messed up here a little bit. They ran together. But it's still gonna work. Okay, we're gonna let the flower dry a little bit. And so we're gonna switch onto the stem and the leaves. And that is pretty simple here. You just kind of draw your straight line. And then you do it again. And then you're just gonna shape a leaf, just the regular good size. So yeah, this is super wet. So that leaf is large, and then the one that's picking out from here is small. Okay, and we're gonna rinse the brush, and I'm gonna reach directly into the cake and grab some of that green that we used, because this is all wet right now. And so I can add a little bit of kind of shading to my leaf if I wanted to. Just a little bit of this. Clean my brush. Another fun thing you can do is you can add a little bit of yellow to your stem. Just grab a little bit of lemon yellow and just add to one side of your stem. It'll kind of add this little fun highlight to your stem. All right. For the next step, we're gonna need a little bit of gray. So I'm gonna just mix. I don't have gray on mine, on my palette, so I'm gonna mix. Excuse me. And I'm gonna go to my little chart right here and see, yeah, this is the gray I want, or that. So it's kind of a brown and a ultramarine. And the brown is orange mixed with green. So I have my orange, have my green. Just gonna mix it right here. Right here. Clean my brush. And then I'm gonna grab a little bit of ultramarine and mix it in here. Probably more ultramarine. Let's grab more. There we go. That's what I need. Kind of bluish gray. Okay, so we're gonna use super light brush touches, and we're gonna shape our cone head. So I'm gonna start for the cone. I'm gonna start with my lemon yellow first, and I'm gonna start shaping from the bottom. And make sure not to put my hand on the stem. So I'm just putting little dots and shaping that cone, the teardrop. You still want to have some white showing through that, okay? Just kind of make it wide and just go up a little. And we'll have to wait for it to dry a little bit. I'm just picking up excess water with my brush. There. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just shape. I'm grabbing some of my warm yellow, and it's gonna run, okay? And I'm okay with that. Just putting some of that into my cone. Watercolor doesn't like rushing. Like if you're trying to paint something like super fast, that's not That's not the way. That's not the way. Okay. Somebody says, need to sign off. We'll do this again. Thank you. Of course. What color did you use for cone? So I started with lemon yellow, and then I went on to the warm yellow. And I need this to dry a little bit. Let's see. I think it's getting there. But you don't want to rush this, because if you rush this, then watercolor doesn't get the time to blend, right? And it's not exactly what we want. We want it to blend and be pretty. Okay. Is it there yet? I don't know. Yeah, it's still super wet. Just let it dry. Okay, I think I might hit it with a blow dryer. If you're doing this, make sure that there's no puddles if you're gonna hit it with the blow dryer. Okay. Thank you. Awesome class. Got to run. Have a wonderful evening. Yeah, of course. Of course. So if just for the sake of the class, so we're not sitting here forever, I'm gonna hit this with a blow dryer, and I'm gonna turn off my mic for just a minute. Again, make sure if you're gonna do the blow dryer, yeah, make sure that there's no running water, because if you put this blow dryer on your running water, you're gonna end up with a big mess. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna mute for 1 second. Or well, 1 minute really. Okay. So the way to check if it's dry enough without having to touch it with your hands is to kind of lift it gently and see if there is any like glistening happening, if it looks wet or not. Okay. I need lots of practice. Yes. My cornflower doesn't look like yours, and it's not supposed to. Okay. Okay, y'all, your cornflowers are not supposed to look like mine, just like your handwriting is not supposed to look like mine. Right? Practice, yes, practice makes progress. More practice will make it easier. That's exactly what I was talking about at the beginning, right? Watercolor can be challenging. Okay, so I'm just grabbing a little bit of gray color onto the very tip of my brush, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of gray here. Let me put them in, and then I'll show you close by the way I did that. Just little specks like that, see? Just like strawberry specks. You're very welcome, Lisa. Yeah. And now that my petals are dry over here, I would like to add one more petal. I know you're probably thinking, what is she doing? Like, it's a little bit lopsided, right? It's super heavy on this side, not heavy enough on that side. Like, I need to do something about it. And I think what I need is another petal here to kind of balance it out a little bit. So I'm just going to grab some lemon yellow directly on my brush and just add fun and then some of this alizarin and just put that in there because we can. I want to spread it a little bit into more of a petal shape. So some warm yellow right there. Maybe a little bit of alizarin right on top to kind of, level this. I'm sure you see what I'm talking about. See? It's a whole different story now. It's a little bit more, it's still loose, right? But it's more balanced. All right. Okay, so this puppy needs to dry. And while it's drying, we're going to start working on the background. And the background is really the easiest thing. So what we want is our alizarin, and we want some water with it. We just want it wet, wet. And you're going to load up your brush. And you literally, so you do not want to go near wet area right away. We want it to dry. So we're just going to start on the top, and just wet your paper. Grab a little bit of water. Grab some more paint. Change direction of your brush. Just go back. So we're going to start doing, what we're doing first is wet and dry, right? And then you're going to come back and add more paint on top. And so you will do wet and wet. And then you can still come back and add more paint. Well, this is when this is dry already, and that would be again wet and dry. I am running out of color, so I'm just going to grab more water. Grab some paint. So again, as I said before, this is not meant to be fast, right? So it's like, what is it, 8? So we've been at this for roughly an hour and a half. Yeah. And if you were painting acrylics, you would be finishing, like with me, you would be finishing your 16 by 20 by now. Not there, not there. Okay. Hope can access the recording to finish this later. Gotta go. Thanks so much. Love your art and teaching style. Well, I am glad you guys are having fun with this. Because I sure am. This is a lot of fun. Okay, I'm moving my paper towel out because I want better control as I'm approaching my flower here. I'm going, see how I changed the brush hold? I switched to just the tip around the flower because I really do not want to put this on the flower. Okay, just that's the background that goes around the flower. Now if I mess up a little and added a little bit of like a little speck of color to the petal, it's okay because there is some alizarin on those petals. It's gonna be fine. So yeah, just paint it. Let the paint get into the paper, start to flow, then go back, add another layer. Super random, nothing super specific here. If you have like spaces between the petals that you would like to get, just make sure to use the very tip of your brush. Also, there's nothing wrong with turning your art around, you know? So while we're doing this, I'm going to tell you how you can support me if you would like. There is a post in the featured posts on the very top of the group, and it gives you a whole lot of ideas on how to support an artist, meaning myself. So it like every time I say this, I feel like people are like, "Oh well, here she goes, right? She said it was free. It is free, okay? But so that I can keep offering it for free, it helps when I get some support. And so you can just go and like my page, like and follow. It's Luba Carlson Artist. That always helps. Um, it always helps to have people on the page that not just look at my posts, but also comment. So if you see something, if I posted something and it resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. That's that's a very easy way to support an artist, and pretty much any small business that's online and that relies on social media, kind of. That's a very easy way to support. And then I have a buy me a coffee page. It's buymeacoffee.com/Luba Carlson. And so you can go there and just buy me a coffee. Or you can go there and join my membership. And there is also a full library of paintings and I just take it a little bit like a notch up there. Well, a couple notches up there. So I would totally appreciate it. Okay. I'm running out of color. I don't want to mix more. I just added a little bit of water to this. And I think I'm going to need to grab a little bit more of alizarin to mix in this because it's not the right color. I don't like it. All right. Just keep swimming, right? Just keep adding. Okay. And I have some like white spots here. You can see, right? There is white showing, and I really like it. I'm going to leave it like that. I really, really like it. Okay, so this is going to dry. And I'm going to rinse my brush. So we need this to dry before we can do the outline. Let me put this over here. Oh, the beginner people. This is still usable paint. It will dry. And then if you still want to use these colors, and like the colors that happen by mixing like this, they're like super yummy colors. They're the best. Okay. I'm sorry, I can't talk. I can talk. Okay, so do not wash this out. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, don't wash this out. This is all still usable. It will dry. Like here, it's dry, right? And so I'll just grab some water and I can bring this color back and I can use it again. All right. This is why I like to use this plate because like it allows me to have room for anything. I absolutely love what's happening over here. This is yumminess. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but this color over here, ooh. And it always happens by accident. It's super hard to replicate something like that. So, but yeah, greenery like that would be amazing. Renee said you were so awesome, very easy to follow. Yay! Great class. So glad I found your page. Awesome. I am so excited, you guys. This was so good. We're not done yet. We still need to do the outline. So I'm going to turn off my mic for a second or a minute. Okay. Now remember, if you have puddles, don't do this with puddles. Right? Make sure there's no runny water. Okay. So I'm going to dry it so that I can show you the marker thing. All right, so for the next step, you're going to want to have a waterproof pen or marker. I have Faber-Castell here, and I also I think I put them away. I have micron pens that I use for this also. Somebody says, so much fun, we really enjoyed it. Yay! All right, let me show you the outlining, okay? So I have two sizes here. I have small and medium. Yes, small and medium. So your thin lines, you're gonna want your thin lines on the inside of your petals, and your thicker lines on the outside of your petals. Okay, and then your little stars over here. That's gonna be your thin lines. So if you're using like a waterproof pen or something, just maybe you might need to go a couple of times over the same line to make it a thicker line. Okay? Let's start with outlining our petals. So that's going to be a thicker line. And I really like to start with the petals that are on top of other petals. Okay, so this dude is on top. So I'm just going to go and outline the whole thing. There, boom. Okay, now this one is definitely on top. I'm just following my watercolor, and I am being intentionally messy as I outline it. See, I allow my white to get into the outline. See, just being super messy. Don't have to, don't be like very careful with that. Can one use a waterproof Sharpie? Probably. Probably, maybe, most likely. I would try it on a scrap paper and see what happens. I don't think I ever tried to outline with a Sharpie. I just can't stand the smell of them. But yeah, I don't see why not, right? It's a waterproof. Try on your practice paper. Try and see what happens. Okay. This is definitely one. It's a full. Okay, so over here I had one that was twisted, but then I added something else on top of it. So, but I really want to show you a twisted petal. Okay, let's just see what happens, okay? We'll get back to it, I promise. I won't forget to do a twisted one. And so, so sometimes I let one petal in between, sometimes it's two petals in between. Just kind of a random thing. And then there, and this. And then I think there is another right here. Something like that. This was a twisted one. So with the twisted one, if you still have it, so it's one with the, oh, here I have it. I have it on practice paper. Here, right here. So you kind of start tracing it, right? And then you change into number 8. And then you cross again, like this. This is how you do the twisted. Okay? I had an unexpected visitor show up and started watching way after it began. Hope I can watch another one of your live videos again. I'll just keep watching your amazing work. Thank you. Oh my goodness, you are so very welcome. So welcome. You are so welcome. Okay. Now going back, that is a petal that's hanging out here. That's another one. That is one more. And so I'm just tracing them and attaching them to, and like seeing where, okay, if they touch or if they overlap. Right over here, like it overlaps, right? So I just let it hide. This is a very interesting situation over here because it looks like a double petal, one on top of the other. That is super random and I super love it. Okay. All right. So next we're going to go over the top of the petals, and I hope you can see this. Okay. So the top of the petals, where the petals intersect, we're going to add a curvy line like this. Camera, here. See that triangle? So that triangle is going to be colored in. That's going to be our shading, the beginning of our shading, okay? So the outside of the petal is going to get a little bit of a thicker line. And whenever the two petals meet, they're going to create a little V, like here. See, that's an upside down V. And so we're going to round that up. And then I'm going to add a little bit more of a darker outline. But I'm not going in between. So this line in between the petals, it stays. It's not going anywhere. So it's just the outside of the petal and between the petals, okay? I hope I'm making sense. Again, if I'm not making sense, let me know, because sometimes I feel like I'm making sense, but people are then like, what did you say? What? Thank you so much for this class. I'm a complete beginner and have always been afraid to work with watercolor. I really feel like this is something I can do now. You're wonderful. Aw, you're very welcome. Aw, making perfect sense. Awesome. Okay. This is exactly what I wanted you to take out of this class, that with a little bit of practice, you can do anything. There's no need to be afraid. Yeah, watercolor is finicky. But it's so much fun. It is so much fun. Right? And the looks you can achieve with watercolor is so different from anything else. It's just beautiful. Okay. And yeah. So we're painting a primitive heart type of a card, I would say, maybe even primitive heart with flowers for the 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. And yeah, I'm teaching live classes in this group every second and fourth Tuesday. And most of the time I do acrylics, because acrylics are much easier to teach and follow. You see, we're like approaching a 2-hour mark. Yeah, we're approaching a 2-hour mark. And this is like a tiny 5x7 kind of, one floral piece. Okay, so I made my way all the way around here. And now I'm gonna do my stem and my leaves. So first, I'm gonna trace the big leaf so that I don't forget, okay? Because the big leaf, and I'm doing like shaky lines on purpose, right? Because I think it makes it look better. So that's my big leaf. Then I'm gonna go do the outside, whoop, and jump over the leaf. So do not draw the line on the leaf. And then just add and jump over. Make it shaky. Okay. And then this other leaf, the tiny small leaf in the back. Got the leaves. Okay, now I'm gonna change to my small, thinner pen. And I'm gonna add little tiny stars. So we wanna add, let me show you the original kind of the reference. So see, there is kind of a lot on top and to the left. then a few to the right, and a very, like just 3 of them on the bottom. Yeah, so we do not want to fill this whole thing. Don't want to cover it all in stars, just a little bit. Is there a way to save this video so I can try this from the beginning? Listen, everything goes into guides. Everything I teach in this group, and even sometimes I add bonuses from like other things that I do. You can all find this in guides, okay? So when this is over, when we're done with this lesson, I will upload it to my YouTube channel, Luba Carlson Artist, and then I will put the link into the guides because it's easier to do it this way. It's easier to replay than lives, okay? And yeah, you will have access to it as long as you're in this group. You have access to it, okay? All right. So oh, that's a dry pen. Oh, that's a super dry pen. Hold on, I'll grab another one. If I find one soon. Wrong box. I have a thing for microns. Do you have a thing for microns? Gosh, I love them. Here, let's see if this one's good. But I think that one is also dry. Let's see. You are very welcome. Okay, so that's a micron number 2. 02. Let's see. Just a star. Change to number 5 then. There. Better. Just little stars. And kind of gonna make it a little bit heavier on the left side, then add a few more on the right, and then some on the bottom. Just look at it and see, like, is this balanced? Not quite. I think I want a few more, and maybe some more here. Better. Yeah? Okay, and now the shading for your petals. What you're gonna do is you're gonna start at the bottom, at the tip, okay? At the very tip, and you're gonna add broken lines, 4 or 5, following the curve, like that. See? Okay. So you're just gonna go ahead for every petal. And then some of the petals, you might want to add just 2 broken lines. Just don't bring it all the way to the center. Just kind of gently. Super light hand. This is important, okay? You kind of need to loosen up a little bit as you're doing this. Because let me grab the practice paper to show you. So if I do my lines and I'm not loose, this is what happens. But what I want is light hand and loose lines. See the difference? Heavy hand, light hand. Okay? So, yeah. Oh my goodness, I gotta tell you, I was looking at the calendar the other day and I realized that it's almost July. And since I teach painting online a lot and all of that, For me, July is like, it's time to start thinking about fall. Time to start thinking about fall and Christmas paintings. And I just can't wait because I love painting pumpkins and all of that stuff. So that's going to be fun. All right. And so if you wanted to add something here, you can, like mine over here. I just used my handwriting and I said, it says, grow where you planted. You can add something or not add something. It's up to you. And I really like signing my painting somewhere, like along a leaf or a stem. Excuse me. Something like that. So this is another proof for you that watercolor never happens the same. Lots of things depend on it. They're different, right? Like this one is absolutely much more loose than the other one. I don't know which one I like better. I think I like the second one better. This one looks like it's more open and it's like more mature. This one looks like it just opened. So, well, I hope you had fun. Make sure to post your paintings if you finished or whenever you finish. Share in the group. I do approve posts because some people take advantage of the group and they think that they can post whatever they want. That's no bueno. It doesn't work like that. Okay. And yeah, like, follow, share, invite friends. Make sure when you invite friends, make sure that they will agree to the group rules so that I can add them. That really helps. And I will see you next time. Jackie says lots of fun. Renee says so fun. Oh my goodness. I am so happy you guys had fun because I did. I should probably show my face to people before we leave. All right. You are welcome. Thank you so much for detailed class with so many tips. I learned a lot just by watching. I'll come back to the video as soon as I receive all my materials. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed your class. Oh my gosh. All right, everybody. Have a great evening. Be brave. Paint. Try, and try. All right. Love you guys. Bye. And if I find my button, there you go.